this edition of the Urban Debate. Tonight, viewers, once again, we start off with the spotlight on Hyderabad, on the floods right now, ravaging through the states of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. But I want to specifically talk about Hyderabad right now. And yes, we have seen unprecedented rainfall in the last few days. In fact, it broke records. The kind of rainfall that Hyderabad saw over a period of 24 hours was more than it had seen as a record in a single day over 100 years. So that is unprecedented. But viewers, the job of policymakers is also to factor in such situations, is also to constantly upgrade our cities and our towns as our population grows, as people move across the country, as new buildings are constructed and new areas are developed. It is their job to ensure that the development is well planned. Unfortunately, city after city in our country, the story is the same. When unseasonal rains or heavy rains happen in Chennai, when heavy rains happen in Mumbai, when unseasonal or heavy unprecedented rainfall happens in Bengaluru or even in Delhi, the city comes to a standstill immediately. You and I, the taxpayers of this country, have had to pay for it. We are the ones who suffer. Our homes get flooded, our cars get washed away, our loved ones get impacted. In this specific case, over 30 people have died in Telangana because of the havoc that the rains have created. Our lives get disrupted. So why should we not ask a few questions to our governments? Tonight, we won't just ask questions of the current government, but we will tell you how successive governments have failed the city of Hyderabad, how successive governments have ignored this massive issue and have led to the disaster that people today are facing and having to suffer because of. I just want to give you a few simple examples before we go across. 5 reasons for flooding that has happened now, apart from the unprecedented rainfall. There was a Kirloskar committee set up in the early 2000s. Their job was to look into the city management and planning and come up with recommendations to bring about the changes as the city grows. None of that was implemented 20 years on. The flood bypass project was dropped by the government recently. The sewage master plan has been ignored, abandoned, not implemented. The anti-encroachment drive for the lakes and the water body areas hasn't ever been implemented, irrespective of the number of times it's actually been raised. The waste management protocols are outdated. The city effectively functions on plans and designs that were made over a century ago. Is that right? Should we be accepting this? Our phone lines are open, and you, the viewer, should call up and share your thoughts. Today it's Hyderabad. Tomorrow it could very well be Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, Bengaluru, any other big city that's seeing very quick, fast-paced development. Let's also say good evening to our panelists as we go across to them. Khaliqur Rahman, spokesperson for the TRS, Professor Jyotsna Tirunagari, spokesperson for TDP, Dr. Shravan Dasoju, national spokesperson for the Congress Party. I have 2 experts who were with us last evening, Mr. Srinivas Murthy, architect and urban designer, and Mr. T.S. Sudhir. And I have requested them to come back and join us again today because of the points that they raised, the issues that they highlighted.
Hello.
Is very, very important to the conversation we had yesterday and the conversation we're going to be having today. So thank you to all of our panelists who are joining us this evening on this special show. In fact, let me go across to Mr. Khaliqur Rahman. Mr. Rahman, can you give me 3 examples of the steps that your government has taken for upgradation of the city planning? Khaliqur Rahman, can you hear me?
Hello. Hello.
Mr. Khaliqur Rahman, good evening. Tanvi here. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Okay, we're just going to try and fix that line with him. and go back to him. But let me go across to Mr. T.S. Sudhir. Mr. Sudhir, good evening. Thank you for coming back. Mrs. T.S. Sudhir, many people have told me over the last 48 hours that why are you asking this question? These have been an unprecedented, round of rainfall and floods that we've seen. Nobody could have preempted it or done anything about it. Could we have done something about it?
Well, we certainly could have. Luckily, in the last 24 hours, or at least luckily in the last 18 hours, the sun made an appearance. So, in that sense, Hyderabad was spared the kind of fury that we witnessed over the last 24 to 48 hours. So, Hyderabad, in that sense, has been lucky. Relief work could be carried out today. So, in that sense, many people who were in discomfort yesterday could actually go back to their homes, and water was drained out of their areas. But the larger question is, should we see this kind of a fury, and as a result, the problems that are faced by the residents of Hyderabad year after year, every September and October? And the answer is obviously the government ought to do better. The TRS has been in power for the last 6 years. The Congress was in power for a decade before that, and before that, the Telugu Desam. And these are not issues which started yesterday. These are issues which have been there for over 2 to 3 decades. Hyderabad is a city, as Srinivas Murthy was pointing out yesterday, of rocks as well as lakes. It is known as a city of lakes. Unfortunately, now we have to say Hyderabad was a city of lakes, given the number of lakes that have completely disappeared from the face of Hyderabad over the last 2 decades, especially in what is known as the IT area of Hyderabad. That was entirely full of lakes. Now, you would hardly find a few lakes out there. Most of them are converted into commercial or residential properties. So the problem that arises is when a builder is given the permission to construct on a lake bed, and residents actually go ahead and buy it, citizens actually go ahead and buy that kind of plots, obviously you're asking for trouble. Lakeview Apartments literally becomes Lakeview Apartments when it is raining and rains of this sort. What is happening now is that the administration blames it on nature's fury, on statistical excuse, saying that this is the highest rainfall received in the last 10 years, last 20 years. But this kind of statistical jugglery cannot excuse the fact that the buck has to finally stop at the administration's table. If certain things are not to be allowed according to law, they should not be allowed according to law. The priority has to be the drainage system. The priority has to be the stormwater drains. Just some glitzy flyovers are unfortunately not really what Hyderabad needs. When monsoon fury becomes like this, even those roads have to be recarpeted all over again once the rain waters recede. So in that sense, it is a recurring expenditure that we are doing and not really addressing the main problem at hand.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And, the fact that you mentioned that just building flyovers isn't going to solve our problem unless and until our foundation is strong enough to take the kind of expansion that we are doing. So that essentially is the problem. I just want to highlight, and here I'm going to point out how successively, again, each government has failed us. For example, let's start off just with the benchmark from 2000. In the 1990s, the situation was no different. Multiple panels that had been set up and committees that had been set up had pointed out with the encroachment that was going on, and nothing was done about it. Unabated expansion took place without due diligence on what will be the impact on the city's planning. And in 2000, when the floods happened, after that, a Kirloskar committee was set up. Their recommendations were ignored. This was when the TDP was in power. Then the Congress party came in power. They started the work on the upgradation and improvement of 4 nalas. It took almost a decade and the work was still incomplete on those 4 nalas. In 2012, at that point of time, again, when Congress was in power, 80% of the Hyderabad sewage was being dumped in the lakes. There was no sewage network across 370 square kilometers. Waste was being discharged into drains that was going into lakes. This was repeatedly highlighted, but ignored by the Congress government at that point of time. And then there comes the TRS government. In fact, during the TRS government's tenure, Mr. K.T. Rama Rao openly refused to implement some of the suggestions of the Kirloskar committees, calling them impractical, saying that these illegal encroachments can now not be removed. It's a huge cost. Then a flood bypass project that was actually in the works was dropped by the TRS government in 2019. In 2020, you're looking at the situation now. Of the 1,221 kilometer long nalas, only 446 kilometers are actually covered. Rest of them are open, dangerous during rain. This, unfortunately, is the state of the affairs. So, let me see if Mr. Khaliqur Rahman can hear me now. Mr. Rahman, are you getting my voice?
Hello?
Rahman, I think you've muted yourself. We are not able
No,
to
no,
hear
hello.
you.
Yeah,
You'll
no,
have
no,
to
I don't know
unmute yourself.
I think there was some technical problem. Now I think I can hear you, yes. Please go ahead.
Yes, so Mr. Kalikur Rahman, my simple question to you is if you can tell me three things that the TRS government has done for upgradation of the city plan of Hyderabad.
See, when the TRS government actually came into power, the first and the foremost agenda, especially for the upgradation of the city, was to make Hyderabad a beautiful city, and especially in terms of the water logging, wherever the the low lying areas are there, wherever the water logging was there, wherever the nalas was there, and moreover wherever the lakes were there. But unfortunately, what happened is, because whatever the water logging today you see, this is all happening at the place where the construction actually was done about 15 years, 20 years back, and all this construction was done at the places where, in fact, because there used to be a water which used to go, the rainwater especially. But now, since it has all become a concrete jungle, and there is no place for the water actually to pass through that. So that is one of the reasons. And the the TRS government has in fact worked especially in this direction, and it's because this rain, especially which has happened this last 2 to 3 days, because the Hyderabad has experienced this kind of rain after almost about 100 years. So after almost about a century, and in spite of that, the rescue operations, whatever the TRS government tried to do, I think has been exemplary. The DRF, that is the Disaster Response Force, has been working continuously, and our Honorable Minister for MAUD has been on the field. I'm sure you must be seeing all those visuals. And so the first and the topmost priority right now, in fact, is to see to it that all those people who have been affected, they are all rehabilitated, and most of them have been shifted to the rehabilitation center. And the TRS government, in fact, now has taken up the project which...
No, but Mr. Kalikur Rahman, I am not asking you about what you are doing right now. Yes, you need to do that now. Lives are being lost, homes have been destroyed, lakhs of people have been displaced. Your job is to do that. My specific question is that in 60 years, if things have gone wrong, in your 6 years of a government, what attempts did you make to change it? Tell me that, apart from dropping key projects, upgradation projects, apart from dismissing crucial committee recommendations that were made, what has been done? Has the drainage work been upgraded? The city's drainage system, has the sewage system been upgraded? Has the cleanup of the lakes been done? Have the encroachment, illegal encroachment areas been removed?
In fact, has been going on and has been successfully being implemented. Now, because there is a Durgam Cheru, there is also a Musa Nadi project, because there is a board which in fact has been continuously working on the lake cleaning upgradation projects. And so it is just because the rains, what we have experienced it, because it's not only this. I mean, if there was, any other government also would not have been able to, because this is something which is a natural calamity, and the way our government has handled this crisis.
Yes, no, it's not. Please don't blame it as a national calamity. If any other government would have been there, they would have failed too, because collectively, Mr. Kalikur Rahman, all of you have failed. I'm sorry. This blame game that you put on the other governments is not going to work, Mr. Kalikur Rahman. Your government hasn't done anything, just like the previous one and the previous one.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, because
and don't blame it on the national calamity either.
Here in the time of the crisis has done extraordinary job, and the people, in fact, because the main agenda was not to just show to the world what we are doing, but the main objective of the government was to rescue the people there. It is not that we are trying to get the acclaim from the people saying that we have done this, because the work is there for the people to see. The kind of the work the DRF is doing, that is the disaster response team, the kind of the work the GHMC is doing, the kind of the work they are all now they are on the field. And for the last 4 or 5 years, since the TRS government has come into power here in Telangana,
Mr. Kalikur Rahman, okay, let me bring in the other panelists.
With regard to
so many new projects and the kind of work that each department is doing, sir, is not an answer to my question.
In fact, is something which
I am giving you specific points.
After
I am
almost
giving
about a
you
century.
specific
So this
points.
was
The
something
Telangana High Court
but in spite
cautioned
of
the
that,
government
our
for
government has
protecting the
really,
lakes on 17th
been
of
able to
August, Mr.
manage
20.
very well.
Mr. Kalikur Rahman, you have to hear me.
Yes.
Okay. How you have managed it very well is now visible to everybody across the country right now. Telangana High Court cautioned the government for protecting the lakes in August 2020 and a month before that as well. It's because we haven't done anything. In fact, we have actually gone ahead, allowed illegal encroachment on water courses and inadequate drainage system, something that was warned repeatedly by various committees. Let me actually go across to our other panelists as well. Professor Jyotsna
No, let
Tirun
me
agrees
tell you,
with me.
because as
Professor
far as
Jyotsna,
encroachments are concerned,
I
this
am
encroachment
looking
has never
at
happened in
reports
the
that
last
have
4 to 5 years.
emerged.
This encroachment,
1
in
minute,
fact, because
Mr.
if you
Kalikur
see,
Rahman, let me
so
go
now
across to our
the
other
priority of
panelists
the
as
Telangana
well.
government is to see that because because since the Telangana government has come into power since that time, no encroachment actually has taken place, especially on the lake bed or in any of those areas. But whatever construction you have seen, that is all happened about 10 years, 15 years back. So now the first priority of the Telangana government after it came into power.
Okay, so let me
is
go and
to
ask those
ensure
parties that
no
question,
flooding
Mr.
and
Kalikur Rahman. This is not a one-on-one conversation.
And there
Let
is
me
a
bring on our
perfect
other panelists as
plan
well.
in place,
Okay, can
especially.
I just go across to Professor Jyotsna Tirunagari, please? I don't think Kalikur Rahman can hear me, but Professor Jyotsna Tirunagari, what about the kind of unabated development encroachment that happened in the 90s and the early 2000s? What about the Kirloskar committee that was set up by the government and nothing ever happened? Today, the plight of the people of Hyderabad, the responsibility must be together taken by TDP, Congress and the TRS.
Definitely. We are not going behind or going back on that. The point here is, during the TDP regime, there were lot many, as you said, yes, there were a lot of constructions happening, but again, there were lot many, drainage systems, pipes that were built, and everything was set across properly at that particular point of time as well. We cannot ignore that. And one more thing was, when a committee was formed, a report was generated. After that, the successive governments has to go along with the committee and make the necessary whatever recommendations were given by the panel. And even during the TDP regime, we have gone through that report. We have in fact implemented some of the Kirloskar committee's suggestions as well. And immediately after that, when Congress government came into power, certain new things were implemented by them also. But now, in the past 6 years, not a single, if I can give you one example, not a single pipeline has been put across by these people. That's the work these people have done in the last 6 years. And the only thing they do is blame on the earlier governments. That's what we are telling.
Let me see if Srinivas Murthy can come in here. Srinivas Murthy. Okay. Yes, Professor Jyotsna, finish.
Yeah, for the past 6 years, in the year 2016, when the GHMC elections came in, the TRS manifesto very clearly said 3,500 crores only for the modernization of drainage system in the city of Hyderabad. Where is that? Because we are again going for GHMC polls now. Not a single penny. We can see that now. No, none of the drainage systems have been modernized, and they have formed a board that's called the Musi Cleanliness Board, Musi Prakshalana Committee, what they call. And there is a particular chairperson for that, and they are drawing salaries on that, but not a single work completed from their end. This is what we are asking. When you have blamed the earlier government saying that we have done nothing, absolutely nothing, then how come for the past 6 years, every year this is a repetitive thing? I'm sorry, yes, definitely this year now, for the past 1 week, we are seeing unprecedented rains. There's no doubt about that. But even in 2016, we saw this. 2017, we saw this. Probably not up to this level of magnitude, but yes, we have seen this. What has the government done in every year when we are seeing such kind of issues? What has the government done? Not a single pipeline, I'm telling you. Not a single pipeline.
Okay. I will get TRS to respond to that in just a bit. But I want to bring in another expert, Mr. Srinivas Murthy. Mr. Srinivas Murthy, come in here. Can one party really shrug responsibility? Successive governments, from my own limited understanding, have failed to bring about any changes to the drainage system, to the sewage system, to the encroachment problem.
That's true. Actually, I don't think this matters like these should be discussed from a political perspective, because each party, each government have either succeeded or failed equally in this regard. And it's very surprising to see that all these political parties representatives speak as if they are holier than the other, which is not true, because now that we are hearing the TDP representative talking so much of doing in Hyderabad, but we also heard the news today about what's happening in Andhra Pradesh today. I mean, what's happening to flood affected areas because of this very season's rains in Vijayawada and Guntur and other areas. So they were in power in the last 5 years. So having said that, I don't think any political party should look at it from that point of view. It should look at it from the point of view that it is citizens who are facing the problem. It is citizens who need these better facilities. It is people who are paying taxes and they deserve a better city, better living environment. I think that should be the attitude of all political parties. And since I come from a completely non-political background, I'm a consultant, I'm a normal citizen, I would like to speak from that perspective, that why is it that we always talk about solving problems in parts? Why do we have a piecemeal approach? But where is it that big picture that you all have in your minds that showcase that you have a vision so that 10 years from now, 20 years from now, things would actually be better, which is actually not the case. I mean, we are repeating these problems year by year and not really addressing the problem at its root level. Like I was explaining yesterday, that I think the problem to this kind of a situation in Hyderabad is about those hundreds of lakes which were connected by water channels in the past, and those water channels which typically lie in the valley areas are now encroached upon and buildings are built there. And in this case, I would definitely like to say that both are equally responsible. The government organizations are definitely more responsible for allowing such encroachments and granting certain kind of permissions to build over them. But at the same time, why do people go ahead and build? Why do they violate? Why do they add an extra floor on their building and then expect the government to come up with a policy like the building regularization scheme or a layout regularization scheme? Why should government be expected to do that? Because obviously people know that they are a good vote bank and they will demand certain things out of government. So people are also violating many set of laws. So I think the need of the hour right now is to look at the big picture, a futuristic plan, a plan which is a long term, which solves not just one problem, but also probably addresses multiple issues at the same time, so that we don't get into this problem on an yearly basis.
Okay, and I will come back to you for some more suggestions on that aspect. But let me bring in Dr. Dasoju as well. Dr. Dasoju, this is not a political blame game. This is us, the citizens, questioning our successive governments on why they didn't do anything and asking them to take responsibility of the plight that we are in tonight. And your party cannot absolve itself either.
Tanvi, thank you. Let me state that successive governments have done nothing to Hyderabad. I would not agree, because yes, either TDP or Congress, they have done their best. But yes, one fact we have to understand as a Hyderabadi, the pace at which Hyderabad has expanded or grown, in the same pace, in the same manner, the infrastructure certainly is not developed. That was one of the serious grouses for us as Telangana activists during Telangana movement. And one of the agendas is that Hyderabad is cash cow, cash-rich city. It generates so much of revenue for United Andhra Pradesh, but the same amount has not been spent in Hyderabad for the sake of development of Hyderabad. That was one of the grouses for us. The other is that almost about 185 tanks that were encroached during the successive governments, all the governments during the United Andhra Pradesh, and in Telangana movement, we all have fought that after we get Telangana, we are going to ensure that these encroachments are totally removed. But unfortunately, what has happened is, I don't want to indulge in any kind of a blame game. But then at the same time, we have to also look at where things went wrong so that in future we don't do the same mistakes. we had an agenda in Telangana movement, and then we got the Telangana. And from 2014 to till now, if you look at in the last 7 years, Hyderabad has contributed 7 lakh crores of budget to the state exchequer. Number one. Number two, TRS government claims that 67,000 of crores have been spent in the last 6 and 7 years on Greater Hyderabad, but they failed to spend to remove the 28,000 illegal structures, spending mere 12,000 crores. When you claim that you have spent about 67,000 of crores, why is that you could not spend 12,000 crores to ensure that these 28,000 of illegal structures are removed? Number one. Number two, we all have fought for Telangana that once we get Telangana, these 185 lakes that have been encroached will be resumed, but not even one single inch of land in any one single tank has been resumed by the TRS government. They have not fixed the FTL marks in any of the this thing. The other thing is that rainwater drainage structures. 1 inch of rainwater drainage structure has not been built in the last 7 years. That's one of the biggest issues. The other thing is open nalas.
And how much, Dr. Dasoju, was built during your time?
Okay, that's the reason I am in opposition today. Just because Congress has not built, do you mean to say that a city that has given about 7 lakh crores of rupees to the state exchequer, despite TRS claiming that about 67,000 of crores have been spent on Hyderabad, where is that money gone? Why is that 12,000 crores have not been spent to remove the 28,000 illegal structures? Do we only live in a scenario?
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough that the point that you make, that's why we are in opposition today. So that just validates the point that I was making, that successively, no matter which party has come and gone in power, people have been let down in Hyderabad, and that continues even today. Fair enough. The point that you make, I take that point. In fact, I want to go across to one of our viewers who's on the phone line, a citizen of Hyderabad on the phone line. I'll come back to you for sure. Mr. Venkat Rao is on the phone line calling us from Hyderabad, and he has a very interesting point to make. Good evening, Mr. Rao. Go ahead.
Yeah, Tanvi, I think I'm on the side of Mr. Srinivas Murthy. Because none of these politicians have done anything for planning. None of them have done anything for planning. None of them have done anything for engineering. I see, my eyes bleed when GHMC repairs the same road every year thrice, 4 times. Relay, remove, relay, and my property tax is going into the drains. Drain covers are not there. They break. The moment they put, they break. And this is not just Dasoji's claim. When Dasoji's party was in government also, those drains were breaking. And there is no planning at all. There is no engineering. There is no engineering.
Yes, you are absolutely... Yes, Mr. Rao, I completely agree with you, and I think if we speak to any citizen, not just in Hyderabad, Mr. Rao, even in Mumbai or Chennai or Bengaluru, people will talk about how repeatedly the roads keep getting dug up for no reason every now and then, but the drainages are never cleaned or upgraded, and every time it pours a little, we are the ones who have to suffer. I'm on your side, just like Mr. Murthy is. Thank you for calling. Thank you for calling. Yes.
Tanvi, it's easy to blame political parties, and they deserve to be blamed when people are in problems. But the point is, you have to look at in the last 7 years, why I'm talking about this is the extent of money spent on desilting in the desilting of nalas. Why is that 446 kilometers of open nalas still exist even after spending 67,000 crores of rupees is what the question. That's what is the question. So you still want to live that Congress has not done, so therefore TRS also should not do. There is no need for this discussion. Today you are in power. 7 lakh crores that these people have contributed to the state. 67,000 crores have been spent, and this government does not have time to desilt the nalas and have the fences around the open nalas or close the open nalas. What is this? Ask them how much money they have spent. In fact, Khaliqul Rahman, my good friend, is actually misleading this country. He is telling that the rehabilitation and the rescue operation I will tell you, in front of Raj Bhavan, where governor lives, you just walk 10 feet inside that slum, which is called MS Makta. Even now, 3 feet level of water is there. People don't have food for the last 3 days. No power. All their food grains are completely submerged. The clothes that they have bought are, for their daughter's marriage is completely submerged, washed away. People are suffering. All that the government should do is to give them a little bit of rice, cooked rice. Even that has not been done. But then TRS claims that they have done a great thing. I am not here to accept that. Number one. Number two is, you should ask the TRS government, where is that 67,000 of crores of money has gone? It is only to build the flyovers, that too to ensure that their friends' real estate value goes up because of those flyovers? No. We want basic roads. How many times in the last 6 years the TRS government has cleared the potholes on the roads? In Hyderabad, 80% of the motor vehicle travelers have got the problem in their cover mein darde hai unko aaj. They cannot travel. They cannot have the proper health today because of the potholes on the roads.
Dr. Dasoju, let me bring in the other panelists. If you ask so many questions, Mr. Khaliqur Rahman will forget what the answer is supposed to be for so many questions. Let him respond to some of these. Yes, Khaliqur Rahman can respond, and then I will go across to Srinivas Murthy.
Yeah. So, ma'am, actually, because in fact, Mr. Shravan is a very dear friend of mine, as you said. And in fact, earlier we both were in the same party. But see, actually, this is not the time where you have to, play the blame game on each other. Today, in fact, is the time we have to ensure that, because the people who have been affected, because they have to be rehabilitated. And unfortunately, what happens is, because whenever the party in power, they try to do something, the opposition, just for the heck of opposing it, they come and then they try to stop so many works. And my friend Mr. Shravan, in fact, is asking what the GHMC has been doing. I think he is very well aware. So I think he actually needs to put his figures right and see to it that how in this last 7 years the TRS government, in fact, has contributed in making the city a safer city, especially from the floods. And as for the nalas are concerned, open nala, most of the open nalas have been covered and still the work is still going on. So simply just blaming that nothing has happened in this last 7 years, I think is something which nobody will buy that statement actually. So it is just, and I would appreciate, whatever Mr. Srinivas Murthy has said. Mr. Srinivas Murthy has really made a very valid point, because this is, most of the buildings have come up, and they were most of the line was encroached, and the channels of the water which was actually going into the rivers, they have been encroached upon.
Let Mr. Rahman finish,
the government, in fact, is on the job of they have already identified and they are working and they have removed so many encroachments and they are still working. But this rain, which is in fact an unprecedented rain which we have experienced after almost about 100 years. So that is the reason you can see, a lot of infrastructure, has gone haywire. But in spite of that, so rather than, sitting there and blaming, I think the opposition also should come forward and to help the people, especially who are now, affected here. And as for the, the progress, what the TRS government has made in this last 7 years and the work what TRS government has done, it is all for you to see. It is all there on the net. I don't have to actually go on repeating here because the time slot which has been given here to me is very short. And especially the TDP spokesperson is also here. So it is not that I want to blame what the TDP has done, what the Congress has not done, and right now, what is important is to ensure that the people, the common man, and the people who have been affected, how they are being rehabilitated. And the same, the opposition, when the people in the power, when they try to do something, they always come and then they will sit there and give the dharna, then they will try to stop the works and all. So that is the reason. So I'm not trying to, put a blame on anybody, but let us try to be people sensitive and let us try to see to it that whatever we do, it is always in the interest of the people. It is not, it is not that what
Okay,
that,
all right.
Congress was
Point
there in
taken.
power for
Okay,
almost about
point taken. Let
50
me bring
years.
in.
I'm not
Let
saying
me
that
bring
what
in.
Congress has not done or Congress has not done. What TDP has
Let
done
me
or
bring
what
in
TDP has
Mr.
not done.
Srinivas
But
Murthy,
most
who
of
wanted to
the
make a
structures here
point.
have come up during the TDP regime here, and but now the TRS has definitely, removed
Doesn't
some of
matter,
the,
Mr. Khalikur Rahman.
enforcement.
Let
Yeah.
me clarify this to you again, Mr. Khalikur Rahman. I say the same thing every time there's a larger central issue. Also, the BJP keeps
Yes.
blaming everything on the Congress. I keep telling them that they're now in
Yeah,
the
so
second
I
term.
don't want to
They
blame any
have to
party.
start
No, no.
taking
Let us,
accountability
this
for
is not
what
the
they
time
are
to,
doing
play the blame
rather
game
than
actually,
blame.
because
Yes, but you are saying that and you're repeatedly blaming them. But you are. But you just said the same thing again, that
that's
all
not
of
the time
this
to. I'm
happened
trying to
during
tell
other
you that,
people's
this is
time.
the time when
Don't
people
say those
actually,
things,
have been
Tell
affected
me
because of this
actual
unprecedented rain,
specifics
the
of
floods.
what you are
So
doing and
rather
leave it to
than
that.
sitting here
Okay.
in a
Let me go across
debate,
to our other panelists.
and talking about what the
Let me go
government,
across to our other
previous successive
panelists.
governments have done or not done, we have to ensure that, and we definitely, the TRS government has got a complete, the foolproof plan for the city of Hyderabad. So I mean, it is. I think sometimes I really feel pained when my dear friends from the other parties, especially talk are just for the heck
Mr.
of
Khalikur Rahman, I am sorry,
blaming.
I will have to come in here because your answers are. I have taken your point. I have taken your point. Now let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's make it quick and brief and get as many points in as we can to cover this very exhaustive area. I actually just want to go across to Srinivas, who wanted to make a point, and then to Mr. Sudhir. I have a question for him, but Srinivas, first to you.
Yeah, so it's very interesting to see the political viewpoints coming across from various sides. But my question to all of them, a simple, straightforward question is, first to Congress, would they not support now, let's say, the building regularization scheme or the layout regularization scheme, which is nothing but regularizing an unauthorized construction or development? And the same question goes to even TRS. Why are they interested in proposing such schemes? Because it is indirectly encouraging people, because I feel as a citizen that for the beautiful and planned growth of my city, as a citizen, even I am equally responsible to adhere to laws. And I should not expect government to give me concessions and these freebies of regularization. So this is the question to both all the parties who are ruling the states at various points of time. That why do you need? Why I think there is a time now. People should realize that they will have to follow laws, and governments must become more stricter in implementing these laws. Now, the second point which I want to make is that why are we even looking at these problems as a knee-jerk reaction or short-term thing? Because the government has not come out in public. Maybe they have, but they have not really made it public. What is the vision they have for coming 10 years, so that people take confidence in them, saying that, yes, at least they have done some bit and they are in the right track. Today, the results, the flood situation in the city doesn't show that the government or the agencies who are supposed to be looking after the city appear to be in the right track. Otherwise, the problem could have been at least minimized, if not completely avoided. So the issue again sometimes comes out is that when you are sitting across table and talking about such technical issues, the political viewpoints and certain vested interests come forward and they derail the whole planning process, the technical process. And also, as I made a point last night, I think it is time to involve local people in the planning process, because we understand our city better than anybody else. And we know our localities better. We know the contour and terrain of our areas better. And we know where the water flows. Probably the local planning department, the engineering department should constitute certain kind of committees which involves local people. Now, the problem with political parties is the moment you say local representation, it is the local corporator or the MLA or the MP. They become, in that sense, people representative, but they actually don't know probably the whole region so well. So it would be better if an architect, an engineer, a planner, or somebody who is technically aware of these situations are brought into such local level planning. And in that sense, you would actually be decentralizing the whole planning and implementation process. And then people will also learn to take responsibility for their own decisions. I think that is where the true Swaraj in that sense comes, where you are involving people in understanding the problem and even trying to propose a solution to that. I would definitely look forward to this government. I must say here, though I am a completely a political person, in the last 7 years, 6 years, I have seen some amount of work happening on the streets in the city, but I know for sure it is just not enough. Maybe I don't know, as I said earlier, maybe it is not in the right direction or maybe it is in the right direction. So we have to also understand that just because we have more equipment, more technology, more money, as one of the party has been telling that where is that money? That doesn't mean that, this is like an attitude that just because you have resources, just because you have expertise, just because you have technology, you can solve any problem. But our attitude should be not to create the problem in the first place.
Okay.
I think that is a long-term strategy. And if only we can get back to doing some kind of a course correction, respect nature, respect the contour, respect the land profile, understand that Hyderabad is not a flat city. The master plan of Hyderabad city cannot be the same as what I was saying, like Delhi or Jaipur or other cities which are on flat land. This city needs a plan which works for its contour, its topography, its climate, and its geological features. So that's the point I would like to make.
Okay, fair enough. Let me just bring in Mr. Sudhir because I wanted to ask him this. Mr. Sudhir, we've seen in many other cities, even if the understanding and acknowledgement of the problems are there, the promises are made. At the end of it, the very corrupt network that exists between those who have their business interests, the officials on ground, and politicians is what makes it completely impossible to bring about any significant changes. Is that something that's also plaguing Hyderabad?
Well, I mean, that is pretty much the nature of the politics that we in almost every city. Just to give an example of of the capital city of our neighboring state, Karnataka, 50% of the corporators in the BBMP are actually with a real estate background. We'll have to see. In fact, the GHMC elections are going to be held in another 3 to 4 months from now. We'll need to see how many candidates are put up by the TRS, the Congress, the other parties like the BJP or the TDP who have a real estate background, because there is a vested interest in ensuring that people with money, people who are money bags, actually contest these elections, because again, only those people can afford the huge amount of money which has to be spent on electioneering. But yes, the larger point, of course, I mean, it's very amusing to see Mr. Rahman and Shravan actually quarreling. Just to tell you, Tanvi, that Shravan was earlier in the TRS and Mr. Rahman was earlier in the Congress. So it's very amusing to see them attacking their earlier parties. But yes, as a citizen of Hyderabad, just like Srinivas was pointing out, it hurts me to see the brand equity of Hyderabad getting hurt like this. These kind of visuals do the brand equity of Hyderabad absolutely no good. Lakes have been encroached. In fact, one of the jokes that used to be related in the 90s was that in a few years from now, or at least in a couple of decades, the Lord Buddha statue, which stands in the center of the Hussain Sagar Lake, could well become a traffic junction. Thanks to the High Court of earlier Andhra Pradesh and now Telangana court verdicts, that has not happened because encroachments, at least in Hussain Sagar Lake, are banned. But yes, that could well become a reality. And as far as the citizen is concerned, you would have seen the visuals and you have been running those visuals of cars being swept away. Now, what does a car really mean for a middle class family in any city of India? It means a lot of savings, it means a lot of dreams and aspirations. To see all those dreams being washed away like this, I think is not good. The TRS government or any government which is in power in Telangana owes an answer to these citizens of Hyderabad and a promise saying that, okay, we will clean up the city. Mr. Rahman talked about encroachments. We know a list of 28,000 encroachments. The GHMC has the list of encroachments. All it needs is the willpower and the determination to see to it that these encroachments are cleared, the nalas are cleared, the storm waters are cleared, so that the water, which obviously has to find its way, will find its way. And the next time this happens, you don't really need to blame nature's fury.
Absolutely. And I just want to add to that, people also, like you said the last time, need to have a bit of a responsibility. Next time you go about, finding a place for yourself, be a little careful of what is being sold to you. Where has it been built? What is the dream that is being sold to you? You may actually end up being the one whose house then otherwise, gets carried away by a river the next time there is a flood. There have been now court orders in several other cities where illegally encroached land was used to build new fancy homes, and this was sold to people, and then the case landed up in the court where the Supreme Court said these buildings have to be demolished. Now, don't get stuck into that. Do your own due diligence as well as the cities expand and you invest into buying new property as well. Very quickly, I want to go across to Mr. Sanjeev Desai, a viewer on the phone line with us. Yes, good evening, Mr. Desai. Go ahead, please.
I'm an engineer. I know how this planning happens. And Mr. Sudhir and other gentlemen over there, they are all planned enough. They knows what's an engineering. The water will flow from the higher end to lower end. The contours, everything is known to the people. Today, again, we are trying to reinvent the wheel with all these politicians and everybody. Is that what we have done all these days and we'll continue to do it? People should, the politicians should get back, allow it to engineers to do the job. And let the implementation happen, whether it's a TRS or whatever Congress government. The end of the day, the sufferer is the public. It is none of these politicians, none of the people have lost any of those properties or anything. It's the poor people who lost everything. And what I'm talking is the basic engineering, water flow. That we have to reinvent the wheel today. I don't know. I'm really frustrated to see this happening in my city in Hyderabad. I'm sorry.
I can understand your sentiment, Mr. Desai, and a very valid point made that the governments and the parties need to go back to the drawing board, bring in the experts and make a long-term plan and start implementing that to bring about the change. I am completely out of time, but Professor Jyotsna wanted to make a point and she's not been able to speak much today. So go ahead, please. What did you want to say?
I just wanted to concentrate on one point, Tanvi. That's prioritization should be very, very important for the party that is especially in power. See, we are not in power right now. I'm going to just, because we are here for a discussion and definitely for some suggestions for the party that is in power. Prioritization should be on a very, very, very clear note for them. You know, a party which can actually demolish a secretariat night on night, a party which could do that could definitely demolish all the encroachments on the nalas. Point blank, they could have done that. That's just the commitment that is needed and the prioritization that I'm talking about. I just wanted to make this point, Tanvi, because again and again we are talking of politics, we are talking of earlier governments, we are talking of so many things up there. But yes, what is the basis for you to come into power? Definitely, because what is the basis for you to come into power? Have you forgotten that? That earlier Shravanana also asked the same question and I'm also asking the same question. We have come into power, you have come into power claiming that none has done anything for the state of Telangana earlier, none has done anything for the city of Hyderabad, and you're going to do wonders. And year after year, let's not forget 2017, 2018, where all the roads have been damaged for very, very little rain. Let's not forget that, Tanvi. What has the government done in the past 2 to 3 years to change that scenario? Yes, I'm again saying these are unprecedented rains. I'm not commenting on that. But at least some measures should have been done. They have done zero. And I'm very openly challenging that.
Yes,
and again, the relief measures are also
so
not
Professor
correct.
Jyotsna, let me even say this. We need to start preparing for, if I can just come in here and say, we need to start preparing for unprecedented situations. Like it or not, climate change is a reality across the world. There will be more and more of such unprecedented, unexpected, unseasonal kind of disasters that hit us, and it is our responsibility to look ahead and plan. And I just want to add this to the political parties and to the people, to the voters. Make this your political agenda. Make this your voting agenda. Let it not be any other kind of rhetorical vote bank politics that plays out around election time. Let it not be caste-based, religion-based politics or even doles and sops that get announced. Let it be this. Let it be about how your daily life, how you're living in a certain city, in a certain state or a country can be improved by your next government. When you start talking about the real issues and questioning your leaders, your candidates about the real issues and what their plans are, only then will they feel the pressure to bring about a change. Thank you so much for joining us on this conversation.